Today, Gaza's brief ceasefire has collapsed. Israeli tanks and airstrikes are pounding the outskirts of Gaza City again, forcing families into an unbearable humanitarian nightmare. At the same time, an explosive corruption probe is gripping Abuja as Nigeria's anti-graft commission moves against top political figures and foreign-linked fraud networks. These may seem like separate crises, but both reflect a common truth. Wherever peace collapses, be it globally or locally, ordinary people bear the cost. Let's break down how these twin storms from Gaza to Lagos are creating real fears and raising urgent questions about survival, leadership, and who pays the price. Here's what's making headlines today. First, Israeli forces have renewed their assault on Gaza's neighborhoods Zaytun, Shejaiya, Sabra, and Jabalia, shattering the ceasefire and deepening famine and displacement across the Strip. Humanitarian agencies report starvation deaths rising by the hundreds, even as a fragile 60-day ceasefire offer lies on the table. Second, Nigeria's EFCC has intensified its anti-corruption operation, targeting not just domestic actors but even foreign-led cybercrime rings. In the biggest swoops yet, more than 100 suspects, many foreign nationals, have been deported, while high-profile arrests swirl behind closed doors in the capital. Put together, these stories aren't just breaking, they're breaking trust, human dignity, and stability on two fronts. Let's dive deeper. In Gaza, Israel's renewed offensive is being framed as a mission to remove Hamas strongholds, yet analysts warn the strategy lacks a post-conflict governance plan. Without an alternative authority to manage the devastated terrains, civilians, many already displaced, remain trapped. Homes, hospitals, schools, all crushed by tank shells and airstrikes. Civilians are paying with their lives and livelihoods. Meanwhile, in Abuja, the EFCC is mounting a far-reaching probe that reaches well beyond headline-grabbing arrests. Foreign nationals convicted of cyber-terrorism have been deported, adding a global twist to Nigeria's corruption story. Behind closed doors, insiders say the probe might be zeroing in on political fund flows, digital fraud networks, and even works tied to senior lawmakers. These operations aim not just to punish wrongdoing but to send a message: no one is above the law. And for Nigerians already stretched by inflation and power shortages, these developments signal both pain and an overdue chance at accountability. This is where geopolitics meets governance, and where international pressure meets institutional reckoning. Across the globe, reactions are pouring in. European officials and the UN have condemned Israel's renewed offensive, warning that Gaza may be sliding back into an even deeper humanitarian abyss. Closer to home, Nigerians are watching the EFCC's moves with a mix of hope and skepticism. In markets and malls, people ask, is this a real attempt at justice or political show? Social media is lit up with hashtags like #EndTheCeasefire and #CleanUpNigeria, as citizens demand both peace abroad and transparency at home. The common fear that crises abroad can be triggered by ceasefire collapse and crises at home escalate when corruption goes unchecked. And that whether it's Gaza or Nigeria, ordinary families are left paying the highest price. Tonight, Gaza is burning again, and Nigeria's corridors of power are filled with whispered investigations. When peace shatters, lines blur and citizens across continents feel the consequences. Tell me, should Nigeria's leadership brace for accountability or be allowed to sweep it under the rug? And, for Gaza warned as collapse was near, what does the international community owe to civilians stuck in the crossfire? Comment below with your views. We'll highlight the most powerful responses in our next update. If you want to stay ahead of the crisis curve from the Middle East to the heart of Africa, hit subscribe now. Your insight and solidarity matter more than ever.